Hi, this is Lauren from LSP Actions and welcome to video 2 for the Digital Fabric Library. This is the Anna Brandt Signature Dress Toss Overlay Collection for Photoshop. In video 1 I went over what's included in the actions, how to view the fabrics and how to open up. So do go back and have a watch if you missed that one. I'm starting with this image here, which is shot on a mid-tone grey background. I'd like to cover this original fabric down here with something a little more flowing and more beautiful and more pretty. Here are the fabric actions. As you can see, I'm viewing in button mode. To view in normal mode or editing mode, you can simply click up here. You might notice how they have two sections. There's a section for lighting camera left and a section for lighting camera right. I've lit this image camera right from the right, so I'm going to use these actions here. I'm going to start off using the guided fabric applicator action. This action will take me through step by step of applying the fabric to my image. Once you've done this a couple of times, you'll probably be quite happy to come down to the expert fabric application action, which does the exact same thing but with no kind of written steps included. So I'm just going to click play here, hit continue, and this will open up the folders. So I need to find the fabric library. Once you've found that, you can decide what your category your background falls into. So for example, this is a grey, a mid-tone background. If you've shot on white, you'll probably want to be here. If you shot on a dark, you want to be here. This is probably the most general studio backgrounds are kind of in that grey mid-tone zone, even if you use bone or cream or brown or blue or whatever. As long as it's not too dark or too light, you're going to want to click here. The fabric I've used is kind of like an off-white, so I'm going to stay up around here and choose a pale fabric. If you keep scrolling down, you will notice there are darker fabrics here. So if I use perhaps a dark red or something, I'd want to click around here. See how the fabrics are all grey toned? This is so you can choose based on your image and the toning rather than just the colour. But don't worry, you can add the colour in a minute using the action provided, and I'm going to show you how. So let's decide which one to use. I'm going to use this one here. This pale fabric kind of matches the fabric in my image. The fabrics they're plain unpatterned silks. They're very slightly sheer, a little see-through. They're best used with studio images and paired with other similar fabrics in your image if you are using fabrics here, over plain dresses or nudes perhaps. So I know these are going to work well with this image here. Resize and warp. Resize and position the fabric. You can right click warp to change the shape. Hit continue. So I'm just doing exactly what it says. So I can resize here exactly as I kind of want to. You can rotate, you can move it. Right click warp, and this brings up a grid. You can move and adapt the fabric exactly to your image as you want to. And you can go back and do this later as well. You don't have to kind of just have one go at this, and I'll show you once the action has played out. You can warp it again to fit and suit your image. So let's say around there for now. And then hit enter. The action is going to go play to the next step. Masking. Erase or mask away any of the fabric you don't want to show. When you're done, play the next step of the action. So it's already selected a black brush for me. I'm just going to double check my opacity is 100% and my flow is 25 up here. It's already selected the layer mask as well, so I can simply come here and start masking away anywhere I don't want this fabric to show on my image. You can also make the fabric a little more transparent by playing with the opacity here. So I may come down just a smidge, like so. I'm just using a hard brush there for that area. Make your brush bigger or smaller if you want to get into the detailed places. White means show, so if I've painted some away and I want it to show, I can simply hit white again and play it out. But like I said, you can come back here and change this a bit later if you want to as well. So So now I'm happy with the masking for now. I'm going to come up here and hit continue, which basically just means playing the action again. So I'm just going to click on it. Colour. A box will pop up and you can choose the colour picker to choose a colour from your image. Hit continue. It will automatically default to green. So I'm just going to kind of click around and find kind of a colour that suits my image. I can choose from anywhere in the image. So I'm going to try and click somewhere on this white dress that's got a little bit of the colour. Slightly off white there, and hit OK. Again, you can come back and change this. It doesn't affect your original image. You can go back and change everything. This is the end of the action. I've added in some extra layers for you in purple to play with. You can either paint them on or invert. That means basically here, these purple ones, you have shadows under the fabric. Let me just stretch this out a little bit. Darken, lighten, desaturate, vibrant fabric. So for example, shadows under the fabric, I'm just going to click on the black box there and paint along here to reveal some shadows under the blanket, under the fabric. White is show and black is hide. Darker, so I can darken the fabric by painting this on with the white brush. So maybe perhaps anywhere that would be behind your subject you may want to darken down a little bit. You can lighten up any fabric perhaps at the front here in the light. Desaturate, that will just take the colour out, and vibrant will add more colour in. I can double click on the colour box and change the colour again if I wanted to. You can also come down here onto the fabric, edit, transform, and move the fabric around if you wanted to. Or right click and warp, just to kind of really bring that fabric in exactly how you want it to look. So until you flatten the image, nothing is solidified, nothing is saved. You can literally adapt and adapt as much as you like. Then I'm going to come on the mask here, and I'm just going to use a black or a white brush just to kind of bed the fabric in now exactly how I want to. I'd recommend zooming in a little bit and spending a bit of time on how you want the fabric to look. So I'm just going to tidy up this little area here. But like I said, you can adapt and change as much as you like. To see it before and after, you can simply click here on the fabric layer, the little eye, and turn them on or off. I'm also turning the shadow off there. So please watch the next video for another edit on using the fabrics. I'm going to show you edits on white and on dark as well if you haven't watched those already. See you in a little while. Bye!